All right, let's actually talk about a good superhero thing.
Yeah.
Daredevil Season 2. I'm going to say it right off the bat. It is a perfect 10 for me. I cannot find really one complaint out of any of it.
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed. I mean, there were a few areas where I kind of was itching to fast forward in some of the episodes, but that was just because I wanted to get back to other things. So,
Well, I mean, you're always going to have in a series some of these slower
yeah,
moments where they kind of draw things out. But, with Daredevil, you want to get to the action, especially when you have the Punisher. But, if for everybody that said how great the first season was, but it took too long for him to actually become the devil, well, you're in full fucking throttle in Daredevil 2. And, I mean, it does not stop until the end. And, I mean, if you're looking at it to be logical, like there's too much going on, like you're introducing too much people with bringing in the Punisher and Elektra, I could see that. Personally, I'm not going to complain about it because I thought it really added to the story. It was time to bring in Elektra, and the Punisher, we fucking need a really great Punisher.
yeah. John Bernthal is an awesome Punisher. He was physical. He was intimidating. He was sarcastic. He was just absolutely brutal, and that's exactly what you need. He really hit the nail on the head. I'm really looking forward to it. Netflix, please give him his own series because Marvel has said they're willing to do it, so it's all up to Netflix at this point. So Netflix, don't be stupid. Don't pass on this. Give us what we want. We'll watch.
If there's only so many times that you get like perfect casting, and you got perfect casting with him.
Yeah.
For everybody that liked him in like Walking Dead, before he died, no spoilers if you haven't watched the series.
But it's Walking Dead. Everybody dies.
Right, exactly.
Except for Rick.
Yeah. This is just 10 times better because he is a complete badass and he is a straight up soldier. So for all the veterans out there, I mean, you could appreciate everything about this guy.
And I loved his rant when they tried to use PTSD as a defense, and he just went off because every veteran would.
You know what? I'd like to think that the writers were listening to veterans when they came up with that plot line.
Or talk to veterans.
Right, because that's absolutely right. He is a vigilante. He knows he's probably going to hell and he's the bad guy, and he doesn't care because he has his own, as the secretary says, his own code of honor. He knows what he's doing right. And for example, the best scene is when he's picking up his weapons at the pawn shop and the guy's trying to sell them on kiddie porn, and he just turns the sign to say we're closed now and walks back and kills the guy.
Grabs a baseball bat.
Right, exactly. I mean, the thing about this year or this season with Daredevil is you really get into more of the full mythology, and you really do explore how the city is looking at him as a hero. But you also get a lot more of the past. We knew a little bit from last season how he was trained with Stick, but we never knew the dynamic with Elektra, and that was a great backstory. And again, perfect casting.
I just wish we would have gone into a little bit more about the chase and the hand and what the hell this Black Sky is. Okay, Elektra's the Black Sky. What does that mean? Is she some super weapon? I mean, is she turned into a metahuman? I mean, what's going on?
Well, what you want to give away everything from season 3?
Just give us. I mean, it just that was my only thing. It was just the one thing about season 1 to season 2. Yeah, I think season 2 had better action. It was more action packed. It had great casting. Season 1 did too with Wilson Fisk, and thank God they brought Vincent D'Onofrio back to play Wilson Fisk.
Oh yeah.
But the biggest problem I think, and that's not saying much. I mean, it didn't have many big problems, but the biggest problem season 2 had compared to season 1 is there was no clear-cut villain.
Right.
There was no one big bad. You had the Hand, which was and you had Nobu, which was kind of this shadowy group, and there was no real fix on who they were and what their motives were, other than they wanted the Black Sky, which we still don't know what the hell that is. And then you had Fisk, who was still there and still trying to manipulate things for his own ends. But that was kind of more of a Punisher storyline in season 2 than it was a Daredevil storyline.
Right.
So I think that would be the one thing season 1 had for it over season 2 was it had clarity. You knew who the bad guy was. You knew what the bad guy was.
Right.
But everything else was better in season 2. You had more of it, and it was, I think, a little bit better done.
Well, the choreography with the fight scenes was absolutely amazing. I applaud all the actors for how well they worked, with it. But I also look at season 2 as the middle part of a trilogy, where you're literally throwing everybody into the worst situation, and there's a lot going on. Empire Strikes Back for Star Wars, or The Two Towers. So you are cramming a lot in here, introducing everybody. But by the time you get to the end of it, you finally get your little backstory with with Fisk turning into the Kingpin, how he's going to do it, and how he will come back later.
And can I get more Scott Glenn as Stick, please?
Right. But you also get a little bit more detailed in what the hand is. So I think that there is clarity. It's just you had to throw a lot into this season to get there, to make it more concise for what season 3 will be, and also set up Defenders. Yeah. So I don't know how many seasons that they plan on doing with Daredevil. To be quite honest, I think I would do no more than 5 seasons.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's you coming from a storytelling and a fan base perspective, but Daredevil is the most watched show on Netflix. They will continue to make it until it's no longer the most watched show on Netflix.
Probably, but at the same time, if you're going to keep cranking out more seasons of Daredevil and we're not going to have a Punisher series, then I'm going to say a big fuck you to Netflix. Well, because you're doing yourself a disservice and to the fans.
Well, the other thing too is, you say 5 seasons, and we always saw 5 seasons as the kind of the sweet spot for storytelling.
Right.
But that was also based on a 22, 23 episode season. You're only talking about 13 episodes with these seasons.
Well, I guess and then I get that. I'm not saying that I'm not going to enjoy it beyond that as long as the storytelling is there. But I don't want to have all these individual seasons, and then you're only going to have one little mini-series with the Defenders.
But we don't know that yet.
Right. It doesn't do me any good if this is all I'm going to get, because I want Punisher. I want Defenders. You've got a lot coming in here that's going to make for great TV on Netflix.
It's all about the money. If people watch and Netflix is making money, they will find time to make all of it.
Right. Now, I mean, if I could throw out just one little minor nitpicking complaint that wouldn't make it a perfect 10, there's a lot of times that Foggy is annoying, but then he'll do that switcheroo where he turns out to be like a badass lawyer. And that gets a little exhausting after a while. Also, the will they or will they not, between the secretary, what's her face, that I'm forgetting her name and I apologize, Karen and, Matt. But I do like that you get all the way to the end and, he's like, I've got to tell her, I've got to be honest, and she doesn't know what to do with it. And, and anybody that knows the comics, you do know that him and Matt Murdock and Karen Page have a long relationship. So, I mean, and I like Deborah Wolf, in this role. She is the perfect, innocent, quirky, but heroine and just looks damn good with these guys. But Daredevil season 2 also is also, well, I mean, as a whole, it's great because, again, getting down to casting, you actually get an Irish Catholic actor, a real one, who can play Matt Murdock. Scott Glenn is just, pretty much awesome in anything he ever does.
Yeah, but he's a perfect Stick. I mean, he even look at Stick. Look at the drawings of Stick from well before the show was ever cast. Scott Glenn looks like him, and he also happens to be kind of a badass too, so he can play the part.
Also, great casting on Elektra again, because she does have Greek ancestry in her, and guess what? She looks.
Well, actually, I don't think she does. Elodie Young's French and Asian.
No. I'm not talking about the actress. I'm talking about the character.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is she looks like that she can.
Oh,
Jennifer Gardner looks like the spoiled little middle-class white girl.
From, Manhattan.
Right.
But no, Elodie Young, she does have the tan skin from her Asian ancestry, so she's got dark hair, dark eyes, so she can pull off at least looking like she's Greek.
Exactly. So, I mean, you had a lot of things going for this season. You had a lot going on. But what you have introduced by the time you get to the end, and the very last scene of them putting Elektra in the little chamber that I guess is going to bring her back to life. Fantastic, because I mean, we really knew she wasn't going away, but you don't know what you're going to get when she comes out. But no,
It'll be an evil butterfly.
pretty much. I would say that the one thing that highlighted this season was the Punisher. You got
the best scene with him was in the prison when Fisk double crosses him, and he just takes out an entire wing of prisoners.
Right.
One cell block gone, done, and he's just standing there, just covered in other people's blood.
Right. Although I do like his last little scene where he rescues the devil and it's like, see you around, Red, you know, with his Punisher Kevlar.
The one thing I will say is, and I'm not going to give it away for those who haven't watched it, but the Punisher is kind of trying to solve a mystery, and there's a guest star, and the one thing that I know this is just because I watch too much goddamn TV, but as soon as I saw this guest star and they were like, oh, he's only going to be in for one episode, I was like, no, they got too well known of an actor who always plays heels. This dude's going to come back and he's going to be a bad guy. And sure enough, at the end of the episode, as soon as Karen goes to his house, I'm like, he's it. So that's just because I watch too much damn TV, and I recognize this guy, and once you see him, you're gonna know him too, and you're gonna go, damn.
No, I mean, if you're a Daredevil fan, you've probably already binged watched it like we did last week. If you're not, there is nothing else on Netflix you need to be watching right now, including Star Trek. You can binge watch that later.
Yeah, and at the end of the season, you also get a nice little teaser trailer for Luke Cage, which drops in September.
Exactly. So, yeah, for me, it is a perfect 10, except for my little minor nerd picking, like I do from time to time. Other than that, I really can't say anything. So,
yeah, I loved it. 10 for me too.
Yeah.
And I don't give out 10, so there you go.
There you go.